Hello and greetings. It's time to stop, collaborate, and listen. We got an awesome show for you. We are going to go over AEW Dynamite with the first time on Dynamite, CM Punk. We are also going to go over and preview Journey Pro's Weekend at Journeys and a little bit more. This is Total Spotfest.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome back to Total Spotfest. I am JJ Brownlee. He is Jamie Faulkner. We are here to bring you AEW Dynamite from last night. CM Punk's first AEW Dynamite. A whole lot more. Malakai Black's murdering families left and right. All sorts of stuff. And a ton of prep going into All Out. So we're going to get all to it in a moment here. We're also going to give you guys a preview for this weekend's Journey Pro show, Weekend at Journeys. It's this 3 weeks here, Jamie. Tons of wrestling. It just keeps going on, right?
Yes. The hits keep on coming because, wow.
Whew.
Lots of good wrestling ahead. Lots of good wrestling.
Lots of stuff happening. So thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. We do appreciate it. If you are checking us out on YouTube, do us a big favor, hit that thumbs up down below. It does help us out quite a bit. If you like what you hear, you can subscribe. To join the conversation, give us a comment, or you can tweet us at Total Spotfest. So let's just dive right into it. I want to talk about Journey Pro in a little bit. We'll save that as our sizzler. So we'll talk about that at the end, guys. But let's go over Dynamite from last night. So Jamie, take it away, man.
I would like to put this Dynamite in the category of setup.
I think this would be textbook definition of setup.
Yes.
In a lot of ways.
It was a good show.
It was a fine show.
Again, when they set the bar so damn high, it's so hard to hit it, right? Even with CM Punk. So CM Punk absolutely demolished it, though. So that's the thing. So we'll get to his promo here in a minute.
Right. That's second hour.
Yeah.
So
they start.
Let's ease
so yeah,
into
let's
it.
go right into it. So they started off with what should be a really great match: in Orange Cassidy versus Matt Hardy. And it was a solid match. I enjoyed the shit out of it because I love me some Orange Cassidy. And as much as I don't like the money Matt Hardy,
you don't like big money.
I don't like it. He's still the same wrestler. Like once he's wrestling, he's great. So there was this really fun exchange at the very beginning, and this was realistically for me the highlight of the match, where Orange Cassidy, of course, puts his hands in his pockets and he starts doing his little kicks on the shin. And every time he does a kick on the shin, here comes Matt Hardy doing a delete. And so they're like, delete. Oh, delete. Oh, it's so funny.
Oh.
And then Matt Hardy does because Orange Cassidy does the back up to do the super lacy kick. Matt Hardy stops him and he puts his hands in his pocket, but he pulls out money and then he flips it up. And I thought that was really great. And then Matt tried to do a clothesline. He rolled out of the way, flipped him out of the ring, and he grabbed a $100 bill, stuck it in his pocket. Love that. So
little things. It is
the little things because later in the match, when Matt Hardy turned the tide and was ahead, he started picking up all of his money and he reached into Orange Cassidy's pocket and took the 100 right out. I was like, that's so good. So good.
Yeah.
No, this match was fine. It was fun.
It's a good opener.
It was good. So Matt Hardy's been like all about the submissions lately. So he tried to do his submission, but Orange Cassidy put his hands in his pocket and legit just sits on top of him 1, 2, 3.
Right, but did you like how Cassidy did the twist of fate on Hardy?
I did enjoy that.
Use the move use your opponent's move on himself.
I'm a big fan of that. I love that shit.
Love it. You love that almost as much as a line.
It's close because like whenever I play video games, like I was always that guy who stole your finisher and did it on you. Like, I was that guy. Yep. Save up 2 specials and bam, you're getting stunned or you're getting rock bottomed. Whatever it is. Like I was always that guy. So I
mean, it's the old school ultimate insult is beat a guy using his own finisher.
It's the best.
I loved it.
All right. So after this, Malakai Black cuts a quick promo. about how Arn was right, Brock's in way over his head, and he's just basically gonna murder him. It was good. I mean, it was fine.
He gives him an out. He says if he rolls out of the ring and takes a 10 count, and that he'll forgive and and apologizes, he'll forgive him and his whole family, right? And everything. So he gives him this out. So there's that.
There's that.
Whatever.
Then after that, Chris Jericho comes out and he cuts a promo, and it was like
Is that what you were thinking? You thought it was going to be something different.
I did, but I didn't. I was like, it could go one of two ways, and it went the other way. I thought this was like the swan song. Like, we thought his match the first time against MJF was very much a swan song, right?
Sure,
I don't think that now. I think the one that's going to happen here shortly against his opponent he calls out is going to be his swan song. So basically, he calls out MJF saying, he's beat him 3 times and everybody's celebrating. It's been great for AEW except for him, and he wants MJF one more time, and he's willing to put his career as a wrestler on the line. So it is that MJF comes out and basically is like, I don't need to beat you. I've beat you 3 times. Like, I don't need to do this, but making you tap out is cool. Beating you for 3 times is cool, but making you retire is legendary. So he's like, I'm in. Right. So we have another match at All Out between MJF and our good friend of Chris Jericho. And if Jericho loses, he is retiring from wrestling.
I mean, we talked about gimmick matches a week or 2 ago, whatever it was. And even as Jericho, this is my one that I would just, I can't stand the or I quit match.
Yeah.
I get it. Because here's the thing. Let's say Jericho loses, okay? And he goes and he commentates. Which is, by the way, his long-term future is on commentary. He's for sure.
One of the greatest of all time talkers.
Gold. He's gold. He will eventually wrestle again if that happens. Yeah. So that's my point. Is like, I know that it will. I think everybody knows that. It's like, oh, he'll wrestle again one day. We know that. Yeah.
I agree.
The weight, the validity of the weight isn't there.
But
I mean, every once in a while somebody follows through with it for sure. Breaks kayfabe. But I don't know. Just like,
I mean, Shawn Michaels wasn't going to until he literally got thrown $15 million to wrestle one match.
Right. And damn near, yeah.
So, but my thing on this is, it feels, again, like I've talked about, it feels like it's time. AEW is going in such a direction. At the very beginning of AEW for 2 years, they've needed Chris Jericho. Like, they needed him.
Oh, yeah.
Especially through COVID, they needed Chris Jericho. Yeah. I don't feel like they need Chris Jericho anymore. Like, it's not like he's a necessity.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, before he was an absolute necessity because he had the name recognition to put fans in the stands. Like, I know who Chris Jericho is. They don't need that now. They've built their brand with his help successfully. He should just do commentary and keep doing the creative stuff because he's really good with that. Keep doing that and just kind of, so he doesn't have to live with a stutter or anything crazy as he gets older because of all the brain injuries. So maybe it's time.
And we can't get in his head. He might be ready to hang up the boots, or move to the back, as they say. So I mean, you're right, especially now with you got big names, CM Punk and other potential big names that are out there free agent wise. You've got names that have been built up internally thanks to Chris Jericho and others too. That Mark's new, but now Kenny Omega is now becoming a household name, right? Finally, 10 years after it should have first happened, but. Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and then you have. So I agree with you. He's not needed for the promotion, for their success and their lifeblood.
He does, but he does not need to be an on-air persona. He could be way more impactful in the back.
And to that point, he had that. That was last week. That was that match. So I mean, I'm happy to see this match when we get to Chicago. It'd be cool to see it because I don't know if I've ever seen Chris Jericho wrestle. I don't know. I know we've seen
six
Raw and
times.
SmackDown several times when it's come. I know you have. But I don't remember if any of the times we saw him, because we saw him during the List of Jericho era, but he might have just been doing promo that
Yeah,
night.
he
I don't
did
know if
not wrestle. He
actually
was
wrestling.
promo that night.
So I don't know if I've seen him wrestle live. I can't remember, but so that'd be great to check off the box, right? But just in my opinion, because I hate these or I quit matches. I just, it's just one of those things where it's like, is this really necessary? But it is what it
Yep.
is. It'll be a great match.
Yeah. So speaking of great matchups, so the next match was the Varsity Blondes versus the Lucha Bros. Right before the match, Varsity Blondes cut a quick promo about like their family, even though they're not blood, whatever. So this match was probably the match of the night for me. It was not very long. It was not long at all. But
I would definitely agree with
but
that. Yes.
damn, like it had everything you'd want. Like it had Pentagon Jr., Penta L, Sierra Miedo, whatever you want to call him, in his Joker garb, which is my.
Joker Penta's the best
It is
Penta.
probably the best Penta. Like I want to say there's a different.
I
Penta.
know.
I just can't. Even though it's black and gold is the shit. But anyway.
The black and gold looks
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yes.
And I'm not a black and yellow kind of guy, as you know. But anyway.
Right.
This match had everything you'd want from both sides. Brian Pillman looked absolutely amazing. I really like Griff Garrison being the tall, strong guy. Like, even though he doesn't, like, because he's got the tall leverage, and him and Ray Phoenix looked really good together. Penta,
yeah.
but then Penta and Brian Pillman look good together.
This is
Like,
this is probably the best Phoenix has looked in weeks, really, because he's recovering from that injury, and then immediately was out there. They did Triple Mania, right? So he looked fantastic.
So, if you had any doubt of who was going to win this match, you were poorly mistaken. The Lucha Bros do, in fact, win. They do it with the assisted pile driver on Brian 1-2-3. They'll be facing Jurassic Express in the finals on Friday on Rampage.
Oh, that match is gonna fuck. That match is gonna fuck hard.
Oh, that match just keeps me up at night. Like that gets the nipples hard. That kind of match right there, because it's just one of those matches. Jurassic Express comes out and respectfully shakes hands with the brothers. The Bucks come down to cause trouble, of course, because that's what the Bucks do. But they end up getting attacked by the Bucks and the Good Brothers. Whatever, it's fine.
It is what it is, because then they turned it around and they had Jurassic Express and Lucha Brothers had a nice little moment there, where double big kicks by Penta and
Jungle Boy.
Pillman,
Pillman.
Pillman, and then you had double tope suicidas on the other members, because it's Good Brothers and Young Bucks, between Jungle Boy and Penta. So that match is going to be so good seeing. I mean, Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, Penta, Ray Phoenix, and Ray Phoenix, like I said, looks prime again.
He's just so good.
Look the fuck out.
He is a freak of nature athlete. Like AEW's got so many freak of nature athletes. It's like ridiculous. Like they are stacked, and the thing is, they are not afraid to use them instead of leaving them in catering. # Ricochet.
Shit, Dante Martin won on Dark this week against Alan Angels. I mean, let's keep pushing this kid for a few weeks. He's getting pop.
The crowd went
that's
nuts
what you
for
do.
him, and like the EVPs put him over. Basically, the EVPs put him over. Like,
right. But then they kept it going.
Yeah.
They kept him going. So he's getting more. It's just like that's how you fucking do it. God.
That's how you build young talent, ladies and gentlemen. You don't completely rebrand a show and say you don't care about anything. You just want to make more money. You don't do that. But whatever. So after that, speaking of freak of nature athletes, Andrade and Chavo cut a promo on Pac, who is a freak of nature, as we know, before their match at All Out.
Question for you. I had this thought when they were talking about doing that promo, because I'm sitting there on my bike and I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, let me know what your thoughts are on this statement. I think that match is going to steal the fucking show.
If it wasn't for Darby Allin CM Punk, I would 1,000% agree with you.
I still think that's going to be the best wrestling match. No offense. I think Darby Allin, we know what his MO is. Get beat up, 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 flurry of action. That's his MO. He's still great. I still like him, right? And CM Punk hasn't wrestled in 7 years, so there's going to be some rust somewhere.
Fair.
I think that this is going to be the wrestling match. I think that's going to be the atmosphere match of the night for sure.
That's fair.
Probably gonna close the show, but I think that this is gonna be the. I mean, this. I think that Pac and Andrade are at the top of their game, and they are both just ridiculous. So that's my bold prediction out there, folks. I think that this match is gonna steal the show at All Out, wrestling wise.
You, my friend, probably are not wrong. That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah.
So after this, you had Jamie Hayter with Britt Baker and Rebel. Versus
Rebel.
Versus Red Velvet. Yeah.
There was things in this match. First of all, Jamie Hayter. It started off. Jamie Hayter looked pretty good.
Jamie Hayter
right?
looks fantastic. And by the way, like, she has chiseled up. Like I talked about before. Like if you follow her on Instagram, if you looked at her Stardom, anything like that. You know, she was always been a strong, thick, like not necessarily like a Jordan Grace thick, thick mama pump style, but she used to be bigger like that, and she got more shredded than Julian Salve, man, because homegirl is cut.
I mean, her shoulders, like she turned around and her hair had parted, and you saw her like back in her shoulders, and you're like, holy shit, that's a lot of muscle.
Yeah.
That's a lot of weightlifting.
Yeah, homegirl is pretty good. No, she looked strong in the beginning. Red Velvet still is green, for the most part. It was okay. The ending was weird.
Ending was odd because it's like there was an attempted standing moonsault by Red Velvet that I don't know who botched it, but one of them botched it.
Yeah, it was completely unintentional. So that's where it started getting weird because they missed that, and then Jamie Hayter hits like a weird backbreaker, which they cut away from. Like
it was a weird ending. I mean, it felt to me like because Jamie Hayter didn't move. And Red Velvet did a backflip and completely missed her and landed on her face. So either Red Velvet missed it and botched it, or Hayter was supposed to be over here and roll out of the way so that because that's the way that Red Velvet sold it, like because she missed and she tried to sell it either way to make up for it, but somebody botched it and then it just led to an awkward ending, and that kind of soured the match, the only women's match of the night, AEW.
Yeah.
Well,
I think we'll be okay because I think we're gonna get at least 2, maybe 3 matches. No, a minimum 2 at All Out.
Well, we're getting 2 for sure, but they're doing the battle royal, casino battle royal on the buy-in, and then you've got the title match. So there might be another one.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Speaking of that, I mean, we might see Ruby. Hi, Ruby.
You fucking asshole. How dare you? That's my bit. You don't see me going here and telling that people look more shredded than a Julian salad, do you?
Come on. Order, baby. I've turned official heel.
No,
I'm a heel now.
Not starting that.
Remember? I'm a
Move
heel.
it. Now.
Fair. Okay.
Now.
Well, anyway.
Ruby, I'm sorry about that. Okay, all right, we'll talk about you later. Hey, Ruby, we'll talk about you later.
I tried to set you up and steal it. So anyway,
no, you stole my thunder. Yeah.
All right, so Hayter hits this weird awkward backbreaker, and then she just goes for a big clothesline, and it looked like Red Velvet was gonna try to do the twisty like super one, and then she just kind of like nosedived a little bit. It just the ending was really weird. Jamie Hayter gets the win. Post match. Britt Baker's team gangs up on Red Velvet, and then here comes Chris Statlander. So Chris Statlander and Britt are set up for All Out. So it's gonna be Chris Statlander versus Britt Baker for the AEW Women's Championship at All Out. I'm looking forward to that match.
Which I think it's gonna be a good match, but it kind of, in my opinion, I don't know if they built that the best. It kind of came out of nowhere, right? They were focused on Britt just by herself for so long here, right? Which is fine, but you didn't really And you've got a week left now, but you didn't. In my opinion, they could have done more to build up that, to add more to it. It is what it is. It'll be a stellar match, but we all know we're waiting for Thunder Rosa to get in that picture because that's where the meat of the match.
And it's coming. It's coming soon. I bet we see it at Full Gear. All right. So after this, we get probably the best 2 promos of the night. Again, lots of promos. So we get the Dark Order in the back. And this was great because Evil Uno is, we're facing, adversity, all this stuff, and we're all on the same page, even though some people weren't there and all this. And then Alex Reynolds gets just pissed off at Uno, and then Uno's like, you know what, you can just stand in John's shadow because that's what you do. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. He instantly just does the instant regret. And then Silver's just legit, just like, just because you got Uno in your name doesn't make you the leader of the Dark Order. And he just walks off. Him and Silver walk off. So there is dissension in the Dark Order, and there is only one person and one person alone who can bring it all back together.
Well, it's the person that has, in a way, caused the dissension.
Exactly.
He's
He's the one. He's the chosen one. He has to realize his destiny. He has to become Neo.
Mm-hmm. And it'll be very interesting to see how they do this. Like we mentioned yesterday, if you were not aware, he's taking a couple months off here because he wanted to spend time with his wife. They're having a baby, and it was planned that he wanted to take some time off to be there during the pregnancy. However far along they are. Once again, I didn't bother checking. I have no idea. That baby could be popping out any minute or 6 months from now. I don't know. But he's taking just a little bit of time off to spend time with his wife, right? So when they bring him back is a good question. Because it's September is all out, then you have November is full gear full gear.
November.
I was thinking Full Throttle, but that's like an old TNA, or I don't know what that is. Full Gear is in November, so you've got 2 months there, give or take, in between. It'll be interesting to see if they bring him back shortly out. If he comes back shortly after All Out, I don't know if it's going to be set up for Full Gear, but I think that it'll be before. I think that the play is to strum it along just enough to the point where they almost completely disintegrate, and then like halfway between, that's when he comes back. That'd be ideal. That way you've got about a month to rebuild the Dark Order slowly enough. Get that match with Omega. That's the payoff. I think that's the play.
Yeah, because two weeks ago, actually today, on the 12th, Hangman says, thank you for everyone who's respected my privacy these past few months. So he's even announced, hey, staying away type thing. Mm-hmm. So
right.
They got to be setting up something big. And I think also this was a thing like, hey, we're bringing CM Punk in, and we want this to be
CM Punk, and there's going to be another guy in New York we're bringing in, and there's going to be some stuff happening.
Yeah. And we want this moment to be very special for you, and we don't want that to cloud it. And I think that's exactly what they did, because I think everybody and their mother knows Hangman's going to be the one to take it off Omega. He has to be.
Right.
Like, it is destiny. So
They put way too much groundwork to have it be anything else, and to do
long-term booking since day one.
Literally since day one of the company, right? Yeah. And to do anything different, i.e., have like I had predicted probably would have happened. If this was WWE ran, CM Punk goes immediately in against Kenny Omega, right? Now, I want to see that match. I do want to see that match sometime. Kenny Omega and CM Punk, absolutely. I think if you're a wrestling fan, you want to see that match, but I don't want to see that now. And now I'm more at peace with this because of that. Because I think that that's the right play. That there's enough pop there for him, and there's enough time that we could still do this later with Hangman. And be just as good. Would it have technically been best to do it right now? Well, they were building everything up to it. But then they had a golden egg fall in their lap, and you can't say no to that, right? No. So, I mean, yeah. So,
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with that. But
We'll see.
this is very good. This is very good. And Cabana's playing great role in this. Allen, because this is fully extending out, so it goes through BTE and Sammy Guevara's vlog. It's very meta, right? So this is. But when this is all said and done, we're gonna look back on that. Like that was some of the best wrestling storytelling that's ever been. The long-term Dark Order story.
Yes, the long-term Hangman story.
It became Dark Order, but that was always kind of intertwined into it as well. It was always meant to be intertwined, which is amazing considering how not over they were when they first came in.
And I mean, it took the Exalted one and then it just skyrocketed from there.
Right, and then it went on. Okay, yeah. So we'll talk a lot more about Dark Order in weeks to come. Sorry, I didn't want to get on a tangent.
No, you're fine. So after this, we have CM Punk's debut on Dynamite, and spoiler alert: the crowd went ape shit. Deafening again. So Tony Schiavone's out there, and Tony asks him, like, what's the one thing that made you come to AEW right now? Like, what's the one thing that drove you to choose, to come? And he's like, I can't hear you. And the crowd's just going nuts even more.
He stopped for a hot second, like, I can't hear you, Tony. And then the crowd got louder.
Yeah, it's like everybody's laughing. Then he asked, and then like everybody just started talking, and just like the crowd's like CM Punk, like just going nuts. And he's like, one guy said it, and then like they're just naming off names. It's like Miro, this, like he just names off a few names. He's like, I'm retiring the nickname Voice of the Voiceless because we have people here that listen and do something about it. Like, I love that comment because it's so true. AEW listens to their fans.
I mean, he is putting everybody in there and their mother over. The fans, all the young talent, Britt Baker, Lucha Brothers. I mean, he's just putting fucking Tony Schiavone. He specifically wanted Tony Schiavone to do the interview with him and hold the microphone like he used to do back in the old Flair. He's like, no, I read that earlier today that there was talk about, because there was talk about Tony introducing him on Friday, and then they all got together and decided this is the best to do it the way they did it, right? Which is right call, the correct call. But they came back and said that they want to do it, and Punk's literally like, no, I want Tony to sit there, and I'm not going to take the mic from him like a bunch of these other guys do. Like, he's even putting Tony Schiavone over, for God's sake. CM Punk is putting everybody over. I never thought I would say that in my life. Okay, I'm just saying.
Ring of Honor Punk.
I'm just saying.
Ring of Honor Punk.
It is Ring of Honor Punk. That's right. You've got yet all those years of toxicity that kind of permeated him. But yes.
So fast forward a little bit. He talks about Darby Allin, of course, and he's like he's crazy and he's reckless, almost to the point of killing himself, but he's like, it makes him wonder if he could still go. He's still got it.
Right.
And he goes, Darby is somebody, if I was a 15-year-old, he'd be my favorite wrestler if I was 15 years old.
I love that statement.
do too, because he's absolutely right. Like, Megan loves him. Also, she thinks he's absolutely cute.
Oh, he's so adorable, right? Yeah.
But then he's like, I just wonder if I ask myself if
he only dates women with 4 belts, Megan. Sorry.
But he asks if he's still the best in the world, and that's when the crowd starts.
This is great. This is the best.
Yes. And he, no shit, stops and goes, hey, that's somebody else's shtick. You're going to need to be a little bit more patient. And the crowd went again.
Crowd just like, they immediately panned to a dude in the crowd who was just like, yeah. Did he just literally confirm?
Yeah. Be a little more patient.
It's like watching Wrestle Talk. You're like, Daniel Bryan is we confirmed.
And then there's this one little extra piece that I really want to call out, because he's like, I'll see you September 5th. And he's like, also, I like to send my love to my wife, April. Interesting. He called her out by name. And Britt Baker just recently talked about how she would really like to see her come back in wrestling.
Yes. Well,
Mark Stradamus is kind of going nuts with this one.
You think she's going to come back, at least maybe do a cameo spot?
Maybe because she was in the same toxic environment as CM Punk, and I think if CM Punk gives it the green light, she'll come back. I think so. I mean, they can't get it out.
Well, I don't
they
think
can't
she
get it
needs
out
CM
of their
Punk's
body, their blood.
I know, but here's the thing. I don't think she needs CM Punk giving her a green light. I think that. Are you telling her that? If you mean that if he tells her it's cool?
Yeah. Not like not saying that.
I got you.
Yeah,
So,
you
you phrased that weird. I was
he's
like,
basically
wait
saying
a minute.
like, okay, this place is really chill.
No, this place
is
is cool if you want to.
Not like it was.
Well, and that's the thing because he's been the only one that's actually ever answered any questions about AJ Lee, who we're talking about. For those of you who don't know,
Yes.
right? He's been the only one that's ever answered any questions about the potential of that character or her wrestling again. She won't talk about it in interviews, and she won't talk about it because, quite frankly, and you talked about this last time, WWE fucking broke her.
Yeah.
I mean, literally. It's like a girl who wanted to do this. Is like Bailey. Like her story was Bailey's story. Paige's story. She wanted to wrestle since she was a little tiny
Got
girl.
pictures with Lita
and
all these other girls,
and she got there, and then she got swallowed up by the machine. I mean, some of the crap that they put her character through, just because that was a terrible time for women's wrestling in WWE. In TNA it was fantastic, but in WWE it was shit.
Yeah. It was the end of the Diva era, and it was the beginning of the
Diva
women's
era,
revolution.
It was right before Give Divas a Chance, right? So she was so burnt out, put off by that she basically is never going to happen again. So I think it'd be cool if she does, even if she does like a swan song thing. Cool, right? That'd be awesome.
No, I agree. So we'll see. After this, we have another amazing Miro promo, short and sweet. He forgives Fuego for his sins, but he's going after the original sinner, Eddie Kingston. It's so good.
So
he
good.
calls himself.
He gets a River Styx reference there. He's gonna take him through the river and
He's gonna hold him down because his God, his God loves him, and he is the Redeemer. And he says, "Bring me the Mad King before I burn this place to the ground." That line right there, I'm like, got me amped. I'm like, yes, I want this match. Like he can hype any match. This is the best. Rusev, Miro, whatever you want to call it. This is the best iteration of him. Better than the best man shit. This is it. This is what I want.
I mean, Rusev Day was great in its own mannerism, but this is a completely different type of Miro, and you're 100% correct. Because here's the thing. We've seen him wrestle, twice in the past 6 weeks, if that.
And they're like 5-minute matches.
And he comes here and he cuts like 90-second promos, and we are raving about how good this Miro character is. That tells you anything. If you're not following along with this, it is that good. Like his promo work is unbelievable. His matches are great.
Yeah. Look at the Fuego match. He put Fuego over. Fuego hit 4 tornado DDTs on him?
Like 3 to start. He hit another one later, and then still demolished him in like 5 minutes, like you said, but put him over hard. And then just the continuity of following through with that. He still shouts out his wife as well too. I don't remember what he said exactly when he was addressing his wife, but I mean this Miro character is glorious. I know they're probably going to do Miro versus Kingston at All Out. I don't want to see that. I do want to see Miro. I do want to see that. I think that Kingston should take the belt, at least for like a week, in New York. I agree with you. That should be the play, right? Unless they're planning on doing something like Proud and Powerful getting the tag. But there's got to be a New York title change of some sort planned for Arthur Ashe Stadium. There has to be, right? There just has to be. It's basically like a mini pay-per-view is the way they're promoting it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I love every second of this. God bless you, Miro. All hail the Redeemer.
Well, the thing is, anytime that AEW names one of their Wednesday nights, shit goes down. Or
Absolutely.
Rampage, the first dance. Like, anytime they name it, it's going down.
big things happen
every
and
time.
we all very much believe the rumor that Daniel Bryan's going to be debuting at Arthur Ashe in New York. But I think that it's such a big stadium, it's such a big thing. And it's not just an hours long thing like last. I think they're going to drop a belt there or title.
Yeah.
And it's got, my opinion, it's got to be a New York somebody. And Eddie Kingston getting a title finally on a major promotion, that'd be perfect.
I love me some Eddie Kingston, and I would love to see him come over and say hi in Journey Pro, just for the record. Because I would want to meet him because he seems like one of the coolest guys ever. And he just seems like just that type of guy. And
everybody says he's the type of guy you go get beers with. He's just a regular old dude, right?
Yeah.
So it's like cool.
So after this, speaking of Eddie Kingston, he's in a match, a trios match of Darby Allin with Sting, Jon Moxley, and Eddie Kingston versus the Wingmen. It was. It was fun.
It was
fun.
okay.
I'll call it that. It was fun.
Moxley is very over. Very over. Oh my god.
Ridiculously over. And his promos have been on fire too. As crazy as they've been. Like, here's this thing with his promos. More times than not, when I hear one of his promos, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I was like, what? And then I watched it again, I'm like, oh, I see what you did there. But it's like, it just sounds nonsensical, like blabbering.
There's madness, but there's absolutely method to madness. Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll get to that in just a second. Put a pin in that. Boop. So the match is fine. It was good. Darby hits a coffin drop on JD Drake. 1, 2, 3. Get the dub. So Darby Allin, Eddie Kingston, Jon Moxley win. Post-match, Danny Garcia runs out and attacks Darby Allin behind until Sting and everybody chases him off. So again, weirdness, Danny Garcia keeps showing up. Like, he is getting a
major push, man.
And I like him. I think he's
which is cool. It kind of came out of nowhere, right?
100% out of nowhere.
At least 2.0, at least you're familiar with them a little bit more. Not saying, I mean, I know who Daniel Garcia is, but he's not like one of those, like, everybody knows this. It's not like when Ricochet debuts, right? Everyone's like, oh, yeah. When they did, remember, because NXT used to do that whole thing where they'd have the guys that they had just signed or are going to closely sign at ringside. They had the War Raiders, Viking Raiders, right? They had Ricochet, they had Riddle, they had Keith Lee. He's no offense to Daniel Garcia, but you put him there, and a lot of people are going to be like, oh, that's a dude.
Yeah, but he's big on the indie circuit. Like, he's been everywhere.
If you watch indie wrestling, you know who he is. You've seen him, but it's just so that's what gets me is that I think it's amazing and awesome he's getting this push, but he did kind of come out of nowhere.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I like him. Again, he does not fit the mold. CM Punk also called that out, the mold of being a certain height or having a certain look.
Oh, he's not a big guy.
And he fits that style too. So he beats his own drum. So we'll see. Like, I want to see what happens with this Daniel Garcia kid because they are putting him over pretty hard with him just being in there and fighting with Darby Allin Sting just out of nowhere. After this, we have Marvez talking with Tay Conti about the Casino Battle Royale. Here comes out the Bunny. They start fighting because the Bunny offers a Hardy Family Office contract to Tay because of everything the Dark Order. She rips it up, and there's a kerfuffle.
And they start fighting. They have a match on Friday, and I have a prediction.
Okay.
I think that Anna Jay is going to come back on Friday.
She's healthy.
And I think that she's going to come back and save her, afterwards of the match or whatever, from shenanigans, and she'll be in the Battle Royal too. That's one of my.
I would love that. So. I miss me some Anna Jay. I miss some 99.
I know. It sucks because we talked about this. Like, she ended up having to get like 3 surgeries on her. Shoulder surgery is a bitch because one never fixes it. It's weird because I have a screwed up shoulder from an old. When I used to ride a lot of trails when I was in my bike riding, and about a decade ago I fell pretty hard a couple times. I probably cracked my collarbone at some point, and there's weird clicking and stuff going on. And I asked my doctor about it, and he goes, you won't have one surgery. It's going to be a multitude. And it's just shoulders are weird and they're hard to fix. So, but apparently you said it. She's supposed to be right there, right?
And her boyfriend's wrestling that night. So,
well, there is that too. We know she'll be in.
Yes. So after this, FTR cuts a promo about they're ready for Santana and Ortiz, which I find very, very funny because Dax and Cash were tweeting some really cryptic stuff in the past few days about if it's even worth it anymore. Like, it was really weird. Like, it almost feels like they're wanting to be done. I didn't get it.
Really? I think they have an angle. I think because they usually
it
have
felt
an
like
angle.
a work, but still like it left doubt, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Check him
All right.
out. Go look at him. Especially it was on
seen
Cash's. Cash Wheeler, the one who got his arm all
Cash,
jacked up.
okay.
So
It's got to be a work.
I feel like it is. So yeah, we'll see. After that, we get Don.
Oh, that's next week, by the way. We get that next week, not at all.
Sorry, next week. Which cool. I will still enjoy it, but I would really like to see them
Well, we'll talk about the all-out card in a second here, but it's getting a little full.
already. Yeah, I think they might have room for one or two more matches, maybe.
Maybe.
And that means they have to have another one on the buy-in, have 2 matches in the buy-in.
Well, I have a suggestion for which one that would be. Well, no, I mean Battle Royal's got
Exactly. We're already fantasy booking. All right, so Don Callis and Kenny Omega with the Elite are in the ring.
Hey, Ruby.
They get interrupted by Christian Cage, and Christian Cage airs old footage of Don Callis and Cage in Montreal, whatever. Then he calls Don Callis a corny piece of shit because I guess that's his only comeback for him.
But the highlight of this whole thing was that did initiate piece of shit chants from the crowd.
And then the big thing I got out of this whole thing, was Don Callis was acting very Ric Flair-ish.
Oh, he was.
Like,
he was,
take my scarf, and then he took off his jacket, and he was just kind of walking a little bit, not like full on, but
right.
If you've watched wrestling, you know Ric Flair. You saw a Ric Flair moment right there, like, huh. Like, I feel like Ric Flair's gonna show up at All Out for some odd reason.
Well, I have no doubt he is. I think he will show up. I also think he's gonna. I think when he does show up, it's going to be in support of Andrade in some fashion.
I mean, it'd be even a better swerve if he's out there supporting Christian Cage, putting Christian Cage over, and Christian Cage still loses.
That has nothing to do with Andrade. I know, but yes, I hear you. I don't know. I think that the Don Callis bits, whatever. Ric Flair is making his first post WWE appearance this weekend on Sunday night at NWA, which is fitting for those of you who don't know. That's he was NWA. NWA had the WCW is basically a broadcast of NWA shows. That's how it started. It was all NWA, but it was the actual production was World Championship Wrestling. And it became its own
entity
promotion. Yeah. So that's how it all started. So I find that super fitting for their anniversary show.
It makes sense.
I don't know. And I love Ric Flair to death. I've almost got a tattoo of him multiple times. One day I probably will get a tattoo of him, like I keep teasing. But at this stage in his life, little sprinkles of Flair is great. Have him make an appearance, have him corner man for Andrade like he did in AAA. Come out and put Don Callis in his place, and then that's it. Stuff. If he does a little stuff like that, I'm good with. I still want to see Adam Cole get involved in this match. We'll see. We're fantasy booking again.
Yeah.
I need to stop that. We'll never get.
All right. So after this, because Cage and Callis get after it. So Cage was gonna go to hit Callis, and then him and Omega start hitting each other, and the Elite start attacking him. And here comes Kazarian with the lead pipe, and he clears the ring. Whatever. So after this, Moxley cuts a promo, and he says, "All right, well, I only got one contract back from New Japan."
He says, and we all know who it was not from. Talking about Tanahashi.
Yeah, it was not from Tanahashi. But the person it was from, I am actually
This was interesting.
Very surprised by it because he is legit like New Japan's living legend.
Right.
And it's Satoshi Kojima. Kojima-san.
Right. He wrestled on Impact.
Yeah.
So I thought he was back over across the states or across the pond over in. But hey, I guess maybe he just never. Maybe just stayed in America for a little bit longer. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. So he's gonna be facing Moxley at All Out. So Kojima and Mox at All Out. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, that's a headline.
Well, you talk about Mox's promos. He then turned it on a dime and basically made it like it's gonna be your retirement. And he basically told him, "Hey, old man, I'm gonna murder you in front of 10,000 people." Basically, is what he said in a nutshell. Yeah. But Mox's work is great. I can't wait until they move Mox and CM Punk. I mean, CM Punk's got to get some rust off him, I think, a little bit, too. He's going to put over some young guys, but he's going to get in on these dream matches sometime, right? Yeah. So, that's going to be great.
So, after this, we have the Gun Club versus the Factory. The match I had little to zero interest in watching. The Gun Club wins. There you go. It wasn't even like spectacular in any way, shape, or form. Like it was forgettable.
Yeah, I mean Billy Gunn's kids are fine. Yeah, they're young. They're okay. Aaron Solo's he's good.
Yeah.
Like Aaron Solo, right? The Camarado, we like him as his physique and everything. But it's like everybody in the ring together doing a match, just kind of like yeah.
So. After that, Alex Marvez talks to Arn Anderson. He reiterates with how Brock is in over his head and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's a typical Arn Anderson promo. So I don't want to say Mark Stradamus called this, but Mark Stradamus totally fucking called this. So Malakai Black versus Brock Anderson with Arn Anderson is your main event. And it was roughly about a 3-minute entrance for Malakai Black. Like I said, I did time it. I did time it. It was like 2 minutes, and
you did time it.
Like
okay,
20-something seconds. So
I was eating.
Yeah,
I was eating.
It was
when
long,
that happened, so,
and then basically, like I said, like he gets in there.
You said you called 15
I did call a
15-second
match. It was longer.
It was not. It was several minutes long.
It was 2 minutes long.
It was more than
it was 2 minutes.
You timed it. Okay. Well, whatever.
So anyway,
it was not long.
It was an absolute murdering in the ring. Black Mass, 1, 2, 3. There you go. After the match, though, Arn gets in the.
After the match got
yeah,
weird.
This is where it got like, what the hell's going on now? Like, we're just gonna throw people at him now. So Arn gets in there, and Arn he's going to go for a Black Mass. Arn blocks the Black Mass. Malakai low blows Arn and connects to the Black Mass after that, which is like, okay, cool, whatever. And then out of nowhere, here comes Lee Johnson, and then everybody's like, oh, it's Lee Johnson. It's like, it's Lee Johnson? Like, that's what I was thinking. Like, the announcers are trying to make it big. It's like, oh, it's another one of the Nightmare Family people. He's going to eliminate the entire Nightmare Family, I guess.
That I actually would have been fine with, because, I mean, up until this point, it was all good with, right? He murdered the kid. He's sitting there telling his dad to throw in the towel. He had him at one point before he did the Black Mass. He's outside. Arn had a towel. He told him to throw it in. You better throw that towel in, old man. You better throw that towel in the ring. He wouldn't do it. He props up his son, does a Black Mass, and then he murders Arn again. That's all good, right? That's all continuity. Yeah. And then Shai Lee comes out. Here's what they should have done. Shai Lee comes out, stares down, he goes after Malakai. Malakai does a block. Black Mass knocks him out. Somebody else comes out. Same thing. He has a pile of the Nightmare Factory. That would have been all good. But he just kind of like backs away from him and walks up back the ramp. And why would Shotty Lee scare anybody? No offense to Lee Johnson. He's still young. But why would anybody be scared of Shotty Lee?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That was my thing. Like, the ending was really confusing for me. It's like, he could have murdered him right there. I mean, I appreciate that he didn't want to do that to the young talent right then and there and just make him look like he was nothing. But maybe it sets up for a match on next Rampage, not this week's, but next week's. I don't know.
My thought is that maybe they don't know. Maybe they have some. They have. I think there's lots of plans for Malakai and his character where he's going to go, but none of them are free because everybody's tied up in the road to All Out.
Yeah, and he's already destroyed Cody with the quickness. Maybe they set up Cody comes back Wednesday, and they set up for those two to have a match at All Out again.
Cody's he's filming his show, the game show right now. He's not going to be. I don't think he's going to be back until after All Out.
Yeah, so he's got nothing.
That's part of the reason why they murdered him like they did, is because he's having to take some time off.
That's what they did the first time.
I know. It's not. I hate to say this as much as we swoon about all things AEW. Cody is very predictable. His actions are very deliberate. When you like, oh, that's what they're doing for the thing, because that's what they did last year for the same thing. Yeah. and then the year before they did that for the. So it happens, but I think you look at Andrade's tied up, and Pac, Omega, Hangman, we know is away right now. So Miro is everybody that you would think he would be you would want to see him go up against is kind of tied up in something else right now. Going on.
I think we see the Malakai Black explosion in September.
Right. I think that's kind of very much like the whole Hangman thing. It's like, hey, we have these ideas and these plans that you want to do, but we have these other things that just happened with CM Punk and all this other stuff. So why don't you just kind of do this festering evil guy,
yeah,
right?
You're still over. The fans still love you, and we'll keep you.
And then we'll
get
get back.
We're going to still keep you out there. We're still going to feed you. Don't worry.
But I think they still could have done that by having him leave a pile of Nightmare Factory people.
Maybe they do that in his next match. I don't know. Like, it's just one of those things.
Whatever. It was an odd ending. The show was a lot of setup.
100%. Like we went from having 2 confirmed matches or 3 confirmed matches to having 6 confirmed matches for All Out now.
Yeah. Because we got Omega versus Christian Cage. We have CM Punk versus Darby. We have Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander. I'm including it, even though it's on the buy-in, but the women's casino buy-in, the women's casino battle royal. Blah. Try to say that. You have Young Bucks versus the winner of either Lucha Bros or Jurassic Express in a steel cage. You have Paul White versus. Why isn't this on the buy-in? Paul White versus QT Marshall. And then there's one more that I'm missing.
Did you get Britt and
that's
Statlander?
6. I got Britt Statlander. I got the tag match. There's another match out there. There'll probably be. Yeah. Oh, Andrade and Pac.
Duh.
So that's 7 matches, and that's including the Battle Royal, too. But, you're already approaching a pretty solid card, and you're probably going to have 1 or 2 more is my guess.
Yeah.
Figure 8 matches is probably the sweet spot. All right, what do you? So let's wrap up Dynamite here. What were your thoughts on the show? I'll go first.
You go first.
I'll go first since you presented. I'll go ahead and go first. It was good. It was fine. The CM Punk thing was great, but I'm not gonna lie. It kind of felt like part 2 of what happened on Friday. So, but Friday was definitely all the emotion and stuff. This is more of the same, which is understandable and makes sense. And he's probably not going to do anything different or get into any sort of real show rhythm until after All Out, right? You don't want him to either. So, but that was cool. The tag match was great. A lot of the other matches were just fine. It was okay. There was tons of setup, and the ending was odd. So with all that being said, I'm going to give it right in the middle, dead center, Squash Fest.
I'm right there with you. 100%. CM Punk was the highlight of the show. CM Punk, Evil Uno were definitely the promos of the night with Miro. That was 1, 2, 3 in that order.
Right.
The match wise, the tag match was absolutely spectacular. Hardy and Orange Cassidy was what I expected. It was still a fun match. And there was actually even I forgot about the Dan Lambert promo. Totally forgot to talk about that. That was really great.
Oh yeah,
too.
Dan Lambert did a promo. He's basically back in the minute of the year. Scorpio Sky and All Ego.
They didn't need a talker because both of them can talk. Because Ethan Page is amazing, and he needs to have a belt in the next year. That's all I'm saying. I am a huge fan of Ethan Page, and so is the wife, for different reasons.
the wife's a bigger fan of Ethan Page
For
just
different
saying.
reasons. But anyway,
if Ethan Page and Darby Allin walked into your house one evening, you'd be in major trouble.
I'm like, get the fuck out of my house. It's like, hey, before you leave, can you sign some stuff? Yeah. No, but seriously, like, it was a good show. It's set up a lot for All Out. It's making me more excited for All Out now. I mean, I was already giddy about it. Now I'm like, oh my god, I get these matches. Let's go.
We're finally getting a card because we've really only had a couple things trickle out, right? We're finally getting a card. They're announcing women for the buy-in. Haven't announced Ruby yet. Hey, Ruby. She's going to be the surprise entrant. I'm still calling it. That's still my guess.
I don't think you're wrong.
Mark it down.
I think you're right now. Before I thought they'd save her for New York because she is a New Yorker,
No, she's not. She's from Indianapolis.
Well,
She's from
Indiana, yeah, but I mean, she cut her teeth in the New York scene.
Well, her first promotion was out of Ohio, actually.
But like when she got big,
she was out of Ohio, but she also did some Northeast stuff, and then she did some like Ohio in the general like kind of Appalachia area. So she kind of bounced around there.
Okay. So you want to talk some Journey Pro?
Yeah, let's do that. So, all right, guys, you tell us what you thought of this episode. Give us a comment. Give us a tweet. So, Journey Pro this Saturday. I say be there, be square. Hopefully you have tickets. That counts. It is going to be a warm show. We all know this, but it's going to happen weekend at Journeys. It'll be outside at Lemonade Park over in the West Bottoms in Kansas City. Now, we did talk yesterday. There was one change to the card that, unfortunately, Matt Sydal not going to be able to be there. Whatever scheduling conflict, some stuff came up, and he's not going to be able to be there. So taking on the besties in the world is going to be the Enlightenment, which is Mike Sydal, Matt's brother, and Luke Langley. So that's the only adjustment that I've heard of so far. Along with that, we have Shug D, or Pineapple Pete, as he was known by Jericho. Yes. Pineapple Pete, I hate that guy. But Shug D, he wrestles in New South, I think is his home promotion, versus one of Jamie's favorite, one of my favorite, everybody's favorite except for his grandma, Everett Connors. Then we have another tag match of the always reliable Thumbs and Buns versus the reunited Howlets.
Give me some of that. I love the Howlets.
Yes, please.
Like, Anaya's amazing. You know how I feel about Hoodie. Hoodie is like my spirit animal. I swear to God.
I know.
If you just do a lion tamer, then he's perfect. But because I evidently can't get anybody else to do one.
You're not asking the wrong person. I've been telling you who to ask, but that's gonna be great. It'll be great to see. Hoodie is kind of sort of reunited last 78 weeks later, but this is officially Howlets in a match together. Great. Then you have Jeremy Wyatt defending his Gateway Heritage Championship against Lone Star Stallion Rogers, Kurt Stallion.
Yes, Lone Star.
Good old Lone Star. And then speaking of Dark Order, we have a Dark Order sighting in Kansas City. Allen, 5 Angels, going up against Moonshine Mantel.
Give me some of that.
That's going to be a match right there. Look out for that match. That's going to steal some stuff. Now, along with all those, you think that's a pretty decent card. That's a pretty decent card. But wait, there's more. So there's also the Ticket to Ride match.
Yes.
So what's referred to as, and you're like, well, that's a very interesting match. What is that? And it's funny you should ask. It's actually a gauntlet match. A 15-person maybe 14 person. We don't know yet. Gauntlet match. I say that because one of the persons who was supposed to be in that was Luke Langley. So we haven't seen anything confirmed by Journey Pro, by Walter or DJ or anybody else. My guess is it's just going to go from a 15 to a 14 person gauntlet. So
who knows? They have enough time. They could probably get somebody local.
There's going to be some surprises here, so I'm gonna list off the confirmed participants. Okay, so it's going to be confirmed in the Ticket to Ride match. So gauntlet match, and it works like this: if you get a pinfall, you get a ticket, and that ticket can be either an entry into the tournament the 2 tournaments that are starting up in the upcoming months here, a ticket for yourself in the Journey Pro Championship tournament, or a ticket in the Journey Pro Tag Team tournament if you're a tag team guy, right? So it could be one of either. And if you get multiple tickets, you got a bunch of stuff going on there. So every pinfall gets a ticket. If you survive and you win at the very end, you're the last man standing. If you would, you get a guaranteed title shot at the Gateway Heritage title, whether that be Lone Star, Stallion Rogers, or Jeremy Wyatt. So, people confirmed for the Ticket to Ride match. Frontman Jossie, who I've checked out a little bit of his stuff. I like his stuff. His stuff is good. You have really good. Darian Bankston. Also, not somebody I think we've seen here in Kansas City. Both of those guys, I believe, are debuting because I have not seen them live here in
Darian
Kansas City.
Bankston was there last time. He was the guy who, he was
he
the one
last
who
time?
wore like the motorcycle club cut. He was the one who was talking all that mad stuff about somebody. I can't remember who it was, but he was there and he wrestled. He was in the 6-pack challenge.
Oh, he's in the 6-pack challenge. Okay, all right, there you go. I'm sorry. There were times during last month's show where the heat got to us a little bit much. So all right. So Darian was there. Somebody who definitely was there was Gary J. Gary J. confirmed for Ticket to Ride. Trevor Aon, who you follow him, go look him up on Twitter. He has got a very interesting gimmick that I am very all for.
Gothic gangster.
So,
yeah, me too.
Yes, it is so cool because it's so it's great. I love his gimmick. It'd be cool to see him in person. And he's a big meaty dude too. So there's a bunch of different varieties of guys. You got some flippy spinny shit. You got some big meaty guys. You got some Gary J. All sorts of stuff. There's some women here. You have Heidi Howlitzer confirmed as well. She's got kind of that tank girl like wasteland sort of vibe on her. So that'd be cool to see. Luke Langley was confirmed, like I said, but I don't know. He's still on their website as entered in Ticket to Ride, but they don't have the card up anymore for the Besties match. So take that as it may. You also have confirmed the Iceman will be there as an old. He was from NWL. What that was his? Wasn't that his gimmick in NWL?
He was doing more managerial stuff for a while. He
was.
Now he's wrestling himself.
Also is Evangelistico has a Ticket to Ride. He will be in the match.
You know who that is? I
do know who that is.
He was Buddy. He always used to say,
I know,
Buddy.
I know.
And I'm like,
it's the buddy system.
The buddy system. And I always went in NWL. I was like, I'm not your buddy, guy.
And the thing is that he would say it about 40 times a match. So that means that right next to me, every time he said it, I got to hear, I'm not your buddy, guy.
It was so
every
worth
time.
It.
Every
so
time.
Worth it.
Every time.
And if you don't know what that is, go look up South Park. You're welcome.
Yeah. So Evangelistico in the match. You also have entered in Ticket to Ride match. Our local rock star, Dallas Cade. He's not helping announcing. He's wrestling this month. Thank God. So that's awesome. And then final one listed here is Dean Alexander is also entered in Ticket to Ride.
And Dean Alexander has been on AEW a few times. So there's also a couple of other people that were not on the website, but they're on their Twitter.
Right. So it's Christian Rose.
Yep, Christian
right?
Rose and Kenny Alfonso. And the one
Christian
called
Alfonso's
Manders.
on
Sorry, and the one
here.
called Manders.
There, yes, right. Yeah. So you've got those 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
That leaves 3 surprises.
Well, it'd be 13 with Luke Langley.
That leaves 3 surprises.
Two to 3 surprises, depending on how they do.
Yes.
So that's where we're at. That's gonna be bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Walter wouldn't give us anything about it, but he has told us that there is definitely some surprises in store. And I am on their website right now, and just as an update for you, there are a few tickets available. Looks like there was a few cancellations.
Yeah, so they went from 0 to 10, and now they're down to 8.
They're at
Yeah,
8
so
right
there's
now.
only 8
They're at 8 right
now.
As of 11 o'clock on a Wednesday night.
Central.
You know? So if you're listening to this today and you still want to go to Weekend at Journeys, yes, I know we joked about it being hot. It's going to be hot. It's going to be hot everywhere.
But hey, you're supposed to
Kids-
wear
kids-
pool garb. They even said like wear your pool stuff. Like I'm seriously thinking about wearing pool shorts because they breathe so well.
I mean, that's not a bad idea. I mean,
Yeah.
I got nowhere to put my stuff in the swim trunk, but we'll see about that. But no, there are 8 tickets available as of right now. So there's a smattering of tickets, and so if you are interested in going to it, it's going to be a great time. It's at 1:00 this Saturday, Lemonade Park over in the West Bottoms. Come check it out. Journey Pro. It's well worth the heat stroke that you may or may not get. That's a bad sell. I'm going to stop now.
Well, I was out in the heat tonight because 2 of the girls had softball practice because they're in the rec leagues because Audrey's starting her journey and Jessica decided she wants to
Ooh,
try
really?
it. Yeah. So I was out there in the heat. I mean, it was hot, but I was sitting down, so I actually wasn't sweating like I did when we were in the oven.
Well, there you go.
So
So we might be seated, is what you're saying, on Saturday. We'll see. That's what we got. So Journey Pro coming up this Saturday. We will give you full breakdown results next Tuesday. What all happened at Journey Pro? Who got the tickets to ride? It's going to be a good time. And then the following week, we are actually going to be in Chicago for All Out. So get pumped. Next week we do have a go home week for AEW. We'll fill you in on some Impact stuff of what's going on in Impact, as well as I said, on Tuesday we'll have our little chat about Journey Pro. And then when we get back from Chicago, we're not gonna do a separate show. We usually do a separate show for the AEW pay-per-views, but since we're gonna be in Chicago and we're traveling back the day after All Out, we're just gonna release our AEW picks and results and all that on our regular Tuesdays. So just FYI, guys. That's what we got. You got anything else you want to get to today, Jamie?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, in that case, I thank you guys for joining us. We do appreciate it. Like I always say, hit that like button if you like this video, and we will see you on Tuesday. Jamie, take us home.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down with Total Spotfest, I got 3 words for you. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Stellar stuff there. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Peace.